What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today, I know a lot of people are gonna kind of be sleeping this morning, but I actually wanted to get out here this morning to do this live stream. Um, that's what something told me to do. So sometimes, only certain people can catch the live streams. So this this Sunday morning is a real peaceful morning. I mean, it just don't get no better than this. The summer days are so hot, but the mornings, especially like Saturday, Sunday mornings, it's just it's quiet. Like people are sleeping, people are sleeping in. Some are sleeping in because church isn't until later. It's just all kind of things that make a Sunday morning so relaxed, so chilled. Uh, and everything's been good. Everything's been good on the home front. Uh, don't forget, if you're watching the replay, I see Miss Carolyn already got it. Don't forget to share the love and make this page as red as you can, um, with as many hearts as you can. So that way, it feels a little bit better when people come to watch the videos and they look in the comments and they see all of that love, and they don't know why. They don't know why it's so many hearts in the comments. But they'll know sooner or later that we're just sharing the love. And somebody, it feels like love in the comment section, as opposed to all of those crazy comments that you would get. So when you start putting hearts in, I think we kind of get some of that hatred that would come in to the comment section, some of that hatred that kind of like hold their comments on the hate. So appreciate the hearts, appreciate everybody that's been sharing the love. Um, I wanted to get in. I don't know how long I've been in this live stream, uh, but I wanted to talk about a dream that I actually had. I'm gonna say about a week or so ago, or maybe like last Friday or Saturday, and I've been trying to process it. Um, but the more I process it, the more I'm still kind of confused on as to what it meant and as to why. And I've been getting some confirmations here and there, but it's been still sketchy. So I'll tell you about it, and then maybe you can tell me what you think it means. Somebody said I got about 10 more minutes. All right, sounds good. I'm gonna be finished with the dream part in 10 minutes. So I usually have nightmares. Like I've always had nightmares. I'm sure everybody have nightmares. From being a kid to growing up to being adults, you just have them. But sometimes you have these dreams that are not really nightmares, but you think you should have been super scared, but it wasn't. So here it goes. I was dreaming, and I was downtown somewhere. It wasn't like it was like downtown Baton Rouge or New Orleans. It was just this place I'd never been. It was almost like a fair atmosphere. You know how it looks in California, that pier type atmosphere, but it wasn't quite that. So dreams are really sketchy anyway. And it was a cloud cover. I don't really like cloud cover days. I love them, but I don't now because I always think, why is it so much cloud cover but it's no rain? So I kind of get into that weather, the weather conspiracy stuff. But this particular day, it was cloud covered. I was with all of my kids, and we were just having a regular day walking around, and then people started moving funny. So when you're with your children, you're a little bit more aware of what's going on. People started moving a little bit scary, like, and so I started kind of paying attention, and it was like, if you ever been in a city that's close to an airport, you will know a lot of times you hear planes, but you don't ever see them. So, and that's because of the cloud covers, and the planes are always over the clouds. So you started hearing these planes, and people were like screaming. And so I'm like close to the city. I'm like, why are they screaming? Because the planes passing overhead. So people start pointing up to the skies. Remind yourself. You can't see anything, but people are still pointing up to the skies, and you're just hearing this, yum, yum, yum. So I'm starting to pay attention, but I don't see anything. And all of a sudden, you hear this explosion, right? Like a kind of like a battle, like a plane has been like bombed. So this big, huge military plane, like one of those aircraft carrier type planes, like those big ones that when you watch the movies, like they be diving out of the back of, the one people don't sit in, but it's like so huge. They always like loading trucks and all kind of stuff into them. This big, huge plane. I mean, fire all over it. I mean, it's really like it's going down, right? So fire's all over it. People are screaming, ah! And this plane is just like hits the ground. Boom. I'm still not panicking because I don't know. Maybe I could feel it's a dream, but I'm still not panicking. And then people start screaming more, and you start seeing bombs dropping. Now I'm starting to panic. So I grab my kids, as many of them as I can. I'm like, let's go, let's go. So it's like you run one way, whichever way you run, that's where the bombs were dropping. The bombs were just dropping. I mean, just these black bombs. I don't know. It's kind of like it was like dream bombs, I would guess, because it's not like that in real life. But they was just dropping slowly, slowly, like parachuting down, just dropping, no matter where you ran. And people were screaming. As soon as these bombs would hit the ground, people were screaming because you was thinking that it was supposed to explode, but they wasn't exploding. So they was hitting the ground, and I'm like, man, remind yourself, we downtown is like a pier, so it's a like almost like a river running through this wherever we're at, like downtown, close to like a levee or something. And so I started thinking to myself, I started listening to myself like, this isn't like real bombs, these are chemical weapons. Because when they hit the ground, they just start smoking, like almost like those little smoke bombs we used to buy when we were kids, like for 4th of July or something. So they just started smoking everywhere. And I'm like, man, if we breathe this in, we're gonna die. People were like screaming and they were like disappearing. So I just started throwing my kids. Crazy, I know. I just started throwing my kids in the river because I was thinking to myself, if we can get in the water, we can swim, like this smoke stuff is going up. But if we can get down low, we can get in that water. And that way, if the smoke comes, we can kind of go underwater and swim a little bit further down. So people were screaming. I mean, it was like going crazy. People were screaming. So I'm throwing my kids in the water. We get down in the water and you start looking up to all the people. And then it just like went away. And so I was in the water with the kids, and I'm saying to myself, like, I guess the nightmare part, because it was all I'm saying it slow, but it was all happening so fast to where it woke me up. And I'm saying to myself, I tried to process what all I saw. During all the screams, I heard people were saying like, I guess you would say it's the Russians, right? And we were thinking it was the Russians. It was like they're bombing us, they're bombing us. When the plane started coming down, that's what people were saying. But when the plane came down, this is the funny part. When the plane actually crashed, some people started saying that's us. Like that was our military that bombed that plane. But it wasn't like they was to save us because it was our military that was also. Ooh, the sun is coming up. It's our military that was also bombing us, like that was dropping those black bombs. What I thought of as chemical, like the chemical weapon bombs. People were saying that's why people were screaming so much because it wasn't like it was another country that was coming to get us, that was um, at war with us. It was like it was that feeling of like who do you call when it's them, when it's the people that's supposed to protect you. It's no army to call if it's your army that's bombing you. And that's the feeling that everybody had out there. That's why they were screaming so loud because it was actually like US planes that were dropping bombs. And that was the confusion that I had when I woke from the dream, and I thought to myself, what did that mean? What did that mean? And sometimes that you get that. Sometimes it's a literal thing, but sometimes it's kind of like metaphorical. It could mean that my greatest enemy is myself, right? That's one of those obvious things that it could mean. Or your greatest enemy is within, or those kind of things. I don't know, but then the confusion lies in, I wonder if you and I and the people in this country, if we're more concerned about these other countries and what these other countries can do to us, and we're really destroying ourselves from within. Like it's really our people, our politicians, our military is what's going to actually be the end of us. These fights, we look at these fights for, yeah, like Amber say, like deep. We look at all these factions that are trying to fight for power within a country because you don't understand what's going on. You don't realize that what you see today is actually a power struggle. That's why it doesn't make sense, because you're like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing this? You look at like those stimulus, um and all of these bills, spending bills that come out, and you're like, why are we spending money on that? Why are we spending money on that? Like special interest things, is because there's a, what you call a cold war, not a cold war with another country, but it's a cold war within our own country. It's like a cold civil war, you can basically say. Since, I'm going to say a little bit since before, I don't know. I think it's just always been like this. I think that's why, being such a young country, that's why this country can never get ahead, really, is because of the war within our own selves. And you're gonna see it. You're gonna, and for some reason, every 2 years, every 4 years, with this political stuff, with this voting stuff, it's like a war every time you turn around. And so I was wondering that about this dream. I was like, is it just about the country or is it about me? Because it could be both, right? It could be the country destroying itself. It could be us destroying ourselves. Or it could be me destroying myself. One thing that was strange was that my children were there, and it made me think about what Christ was talking about when he said when that day came, people are gonna wish they didn't have children. And that's because it was difficult trying to corral my children to get us to that water. Half of them, they didn't even know, like, it was nothing going on to them because it was just a regular day. It was kind of, I kind of understand how Pearl Harbor must have been when people, it was so much of a regular day that it's easy to get taken by surprise. It was so much of a regular day that you would say nothing would happen today, or nothing would happen, or nothing like this would ever happen. And it always happens on regular days. That's what I think people need to understand. When people are looking for SHTF or whatever you're looking for, it's gonna happen on a regular day. It's not gonna be nothing out of the ordinary. It's never anything out of the ordinary. And those people at Pearl Harbor just walking around regular day, and boom. And that's what tripped me out because it was a regular day, and I'm like, my kids walking this way, I'm running to try to grab this one. I'm trying to, my kids are really young. They're just looking around and they're startled because so many people are running and screaming. They're getting knocked around by all these people, and I'm trying to grab this one and one in my hand, and I'm throwing one in the water, and I'm trying to get to the next ones. And I thought about that. I was like, man, if something happens right now, my kids are getting a little older, but I'm like right now, today, if this was a week ago, I'm like, if something happened right now, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to move, right? Because I was thinking I could have just jumped in the water when I just first start seeing the bombs coming down, even before the bombs hit the ground. By the time I got in the water, I had already inhaled some of the smoke or whatever it was because it was everywhere. Like the little bombs were everywhere, and I was just throwing my kids in. Of course, you're the last one to get in the water. You got to throw your kids in first. And I just was wondering about that, how difficult it's going to be for people with children. And then I look on social media. Good morning, y'all. If I didn't say good morning, I'm sorry. I look on social media, and even in these comment sections, you'll see people talking about America is done. America is finished. It's over with. You know what I think to myself when, thank y'all for the hearts. You know what I mean? Uh, don't you know you live in America? I wonder if people actually think about the stuff they say. That's it for this old wicked country, and judgment is coming up on this place. Like, don't you know you live here? Don't you know when comes to America, judgment is coming to you? People, I don't know what people think. They think God is going to save me, but let America be destroyed. How is that possible? How is that possible? If you're a part of America, I mean, you may, not everybody's going to die in wars, but most people, if it was a real all out Armageddon, The odds are very slim to make it through that. Even if you survive, your mama might die, your children might die. Alicia said it right. People assume they are in favor. And God says, I'm no respecter of persons. If the God you're talking about, the same God that you read about in the Bible, the same one that let his son die, the same God that let people murder and crucify his son, and he didn't even move. Matter of fact, they say that he actually turned his face away from it. And who are you? Are you greater than him? I think about that because here I am. I know without a doubt that I've tried to somewhat be an example of what it means to be a son of God. And I think that's what confused me the most is because I didn't get any warning. And it just happened just like that. All this prepping stuff that's at your houses. Think about that. You got all this stuff prepped up at your house, and I didn't even know where I was. I don't know what city I was in. I don't know what state I was in. I don't even know what country I was in. Wherever I was, I had nothing but the clothes on my back, throwing those kids in that water, in that stream. Somebody said, Yah will deliver his people while destroying the U.S. I never read that in the Bible. Some will, and I'm not talking about, and I'm not trying to generalize. And like I'm saying, the Bible talks about not just Israel and just certain sects of people. It's gonna be other people sojourning. What he says, sojourning with them. Like not everybody's gonna die. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just saying when you see people making comments about America being destroyed, that doesn't mean you're gonna make it. That doesn't mean he's chosen you to make it. Some will. Didn't he say like what 60 something percent, 2/3, right? Not gonna make it. So if 2/3 are not gonna make it, are you in that number that will make it? I'm not talking about heaven or hell. You can die in a war and go to heaven. I believe so. I'm not talking about where you go and spend eternity. I'm talking about physical life. Physical life. People die all the time, man. How many people that you know that are good people to you, that are, I mean, salt of the earth people, and die of cancer every day? I know a beautiful lady, beautiful woman, community activist. I'm not talking about one of these uh scream, let's help the poor people and don't do anything. I'm talking about the kind of lady that wasn't a politician, that was actually a community activist. When I mean activist, I mean really active in the community, putting on programs, doing all of these things. You know what happened to that lady? She gave somebody a ride, the wrong person one day, and they killed her and stuffed her in the trunk of a car. So don't tell me that because you are blessed and highly favored and you're a child of God and all of that, don't tell me that you're not going to die and nobody can kill you, because it happens all the time. That has nothing to do with your salvation. because your physical body gets murdered. I just think something's going on. I don't know why I had that dream. I just think something's going on. It's been so crazy, the stuff that's been going on, from the Donald Trumps to the Bidens to the Pelosi's to the stuff that's going on in what, that's in France or whatever. The prime minister were in Japan or China or somewhere, killed. These other prime ministers, were the Boris Johnson and all these people, the whole cabinets just leaving. Like, who makes a whole government just start retiring? Who can do that? You leave or die. Gotta be. I mean, why not finish out your term? Why resign just like that in droves? And here I was in this dream, just like the Messiah said, just going about my day. No man knows the day or the hour when this stuff really gonna get going. And it's gonna just be a regular day, people. I think he said, don't worry about what men can do and to the body. Or don't worry about men that can destroy the body, but worry about the Father that can destroy the soul. I think people, we cling so much to life and these little things of life. I was remembering during the 2020 crisis. You know how many people died just because they went to work? They just had to go to work. Gotta go to work. Gotta go to work. Then they died, and now they don't have to go to work. All of the things in our lives. I know a guy, he talks about the end of the world all the time. He talks about the days. Oh man, I looked at this video, and this is gonna be the day. And I'm saying to myself, if you think the end of the world is gonna be in November or December, what are you doing at work? What are you doing getting overtime? Every time you turn around, you taking overtime. If I thought the end of the world was in December, you wouldn't catch me at a job right now. I wouldn't go. Think about that. If I actually thought my life would be over in December or the world would be over in December, why would I be at work right now? Why would I be doing anything for another company right now? That makes no sense. But all of these doomsday people that supposedly knows the world is coming to an end, they know the dates, they got the calendars, and they, oh, this calendar is wrong, this is the right calendar. If you're so sure about what you're saying, what are you doing working? What are you doing still working for a dollar? Because people are not convinced of what they try to convince you of themselves. I think that's the real I think that's the real issue. No, I don't wish for judgment on any country, even though I believe that judgment is coming not just on the United States of America, but on the world as a whole. And it always comes. If you've looked at the Bible as a historical map, Judgment always comes. There's no getting away from it. There's no getting away from the idea. But just know that when judgment comes, that you will be a part of that judgment. Just know that when God judges the city, just as Sodom and Gomorrah, if you are in that city, you will burn. You will be judged unless you leave like Lot left. When judgment comes, you're a part of it, baby. You've taken a part. I want people to think about this. You've taken part in a system that you say is so evil and so corrupt. I had a priest. I don't want to talk about the religions or nothing, but I had a priest that once said something so profound. And he said, don't you know that you take part in the sins of this country every day? Had never thought about it. He said, when you buy a gallon of gas, you'll participate. You might not go drop the bomb, but when you buy a gallon of gas, you pay taxes. Those taxes you pay, I don't care if you buy a gallon of milk, those taxes you pay go to fund programs to build those bombs, to drop those bombs on these small countries that you look at in the news. That's some of your money. And he called it social sin. And he said, you can't live in this country and not be a part of it. If you buying something from the store, if you paying any kind of money to the federal government, whatever, you're a part of it. The only thing you can do is pray to God that he have mercy on you when his judgment comes. Winfrey said it faster than I could. Swermy said, yes, you pay their salaries also. Hello. Just think about that. So to all the people, every time you buy a gallon of gas, to all the people that's saying, um, America is done, America is finished, and God's gonna come against America, and he's gonna do this and he's gonna do that. Just know you're not innocent. So if you're not innocent, that means that you also, I'm just saying, might have some judgment coming your way. And he might save you still. I'm not saying he's going to kill you. And everybody thinks that this is all about just life and death. I'm not really talking about life and death. I'm just talking about the peace that I'm seeing right now. You haven't, maybe about 3 cars have passed on the road. I've never been a suicidal type person. Like I've always been the person that, man, I love this place with a passion. I'm not talking about America. I actually love Earth. Like I love this what God has created. Like with a passion. I wish I could never die. That's how much I love this place. Like I'm so in love with these plants and just the sky. I love thunderstorms. Like I love everything about this place. That's what I think about losing. And I know we can't stay here forever. I know it's something better than this. But I just want, to me, it's an honor that God has actually put me in this place. Like God has actually created me and put me on the earth. You know how blessed you are to be alive. I'm not talking about if you lost your job. I'm not talking about if you're homeless. You know how blessed you are to be alive. Even the angels were jealous that God chose us to do this, to experience this. They were like, why them? Why you letting them have all of that? Why you gave them all of that? Man, you think about that. They say in heaven, like it's no male nor female. We actually can have a relationship. Men and women can actually be in love, fall in love, live together, raise a family together. Can you imagine giving all of that up for hatred, to kill one another, for money, for power? It just, this world just trips me out. It trips me out when I see uh, a woman raped and killed. I just don't understand it. And I say, I was talking to Bells about this last night. She was telling me about a girl in the Philippines going to work every day. Somebody raped her, killed her, threw her in the bushes. And I was like, it's so many free women. This is just so much evil. You know how you can just go and get a woman for free? Why would you rape and kill one? You can go pay for women. I'm not saying that is right. I'm just being honest and real. This is real life. You can go pay to have a woman as much as you want. But the evil of that, I don't want to go pay for a prostitute or whatever. I want to kill one. Some of the rapists have women that actually like them. They don't even want those. They want to go to the ones that don't want them so they can be mad, rape, and kill them. Doesn't make any sense when you see this kind of evil. These countries could leave each other alone. No reason for the US to be in these other countries. No reason for these other countries to be in these smaller countries. Russia and other countries. China invading these other countries. Uh, Israel and Syria and all these countries fighting each other. It's really no reason for it. The only explanation is evil. What's going on, Bride of Christ? The only explanation is evil. So I'm gonna end. I'm gonna end this live stream. Don't forget, if you're watching the replay, don't forget to leave us some hearts in the comments. Love to see the hearts in the comments. Love to see the hearts in the comments. Don't forget, if you're in here right now, please, 350 of you, if you're in here right now and you haven't pressed the like button, please take a second to press the like button so we can actually share some of the content. So somebody might want to listen in and check out y'all comments as well. So when you press like and somebody um, shared the content, or YouTube shares the content, some of those I don't even get a chance to see all the comments, but people can come in and actually see all the comments, and maybe a comment that you made might be something that'll change somebody's life. So I want to thank y'all for that. As I end the live stream, Happy Sunday to everybody. Appreciate it. Wow, that looks beautiful. Look at those colors. That looks beautiful. It's okay to be in love with where you are. I don't know why people hate where they are. It's okay to be in love with where you are. If it's a small town, you know how we get in these small towns. We hate that we're so far away from everybody. But I'm telling you, find some beauty in that small town because it's there. Find some beauty in your situation. I think that's more important than anything. Oh, I love to see it, y'all. I love to see it. Find some beauty in what you're doing. Find some beauty in your relationship. Stop focusing on all the bad. That's how we look at this country. People focus on everything bad about this country, and we never hear about all the good stuff about this country. Even in our situation, we focus so much on the slavery of this country, but they never talk about the fighting and what it took to get out of the slavery, all the sacrifices that it took for white and black people to get black folks out of that slavery. We can focus on that too. Don't always focus on that man, all the bad crap about him. Take a few days to focus on some good things about that man. Don't look at your wife and focus on all the bad things about her. Focus on some of the good things. She may not be the best cleaner, but she cooks for you all the time. She might not be the best cook, but your house is always spick and span clean. Take some time to focus on that and build her up on that. Baby, this house is, I ain't gonna lie, baby, this house is always just clean as I don't know what. Any little thing, any little thing for the good. Put your focus and your attention on the good, because if we did that in this country, people would see how beautiful this country is. People will see the beauty in even the history of this country, which was terrible. Like the bad part of it was terrible. Jim Crow, black people hanging from trees, that was crazy. The history, when I hear about that, I've never experienced it, but just to hear about that, that's evil at its most brutal form. But the people that had to come down on buses to the South, sacrifice, put their lives on the line, the freedom riders, all of these people that helped slaves escape, all of these people, the beauty in that, we don't ever focus on. We don't ever focus on. So just remember, if you're begging for the judgment of America, I hope you have a plan to be away from America when that judgment comes. There's a song Lauren Hill sings, and she says, she's just an old saying, but she turned it into a song. It might have been an old Bob Marley song she redid, but she says, when the rain falls, it don't falls on just one man's house. I'm telling you that. When the rain falls, it don't falls on just one man's house. If it rains in your city, more than likely your house will not be exempt. If it rains in your neighborhood, it's very rare, and it happens sometimes. I'm not saying it's impossible. It happens sometimes where it's raining over here in a couple of houses, and then a little bit down it stops raining. But if you're in this country and judgment comes, like you say it's coming, and those bombs start raining, it's not gonna matter what church you went to Sunday. It's not gonna matter what church you belong to. It's not gonna matter what religion you are. When the rain starts to fall, all you can do is, like the old people used to say, you can get your business fixed. Because when judgment comes, more than likely, it's coming for us all. And my daddy used to say, every tub, son, he said, every tub got to set on its own bottom. And every tongue must give account for its own disbehavior down here. Your judgment might not be as bad as others, but it's coming to you too. So don't wish for judgment. Pray. There's many times in the Bible where God promised Israel he was going to destroy them, but they repented. And he repented of what he said he would do to them. So think about that. Maybe the Lord will save you and your family, because only he can. Your prepping can't do it. Your knowledge can't do it. Only God can. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, I love y'all. God loves you more than that. I don't even know you. I probably only met a few of you. But God knows everything about you. He loves you more than I could ever know. Somebody say, stop treating God like renter's insurance. You remember I always said, even if God doesn't spare you, if God doesn't spare my children, my wife, my family, I still love them, because I believe that his will must come to pass. I don't know what his will is all the time. I just try to stay as close as I can to it, as close as I can to loving my brothers and sisters and loving my neighbors, as close as I can to that. And everything else is out of my hands. Everything else is in God's hands. Thank y'all for watching. Catch me on the next video. As always, take care of yourself and grow in all areas of life, not just in this garden. Look at those things back there. That's Beverly's plants. That's Beverly's plants. She loved those things. As always, grow, grow, grow. Peace. Y'all take care.